Hi, we're going to do question 5, and this is based on rate of reaction. For the first time, I do see a question on drawing tangent to find the rate of reaction, which is really interesting. So without further ado, let's just dive straight in, shall we? Okay, so 11 marks here for all of us to accomplish. So the first question is going to be this, okay? Now, the first question is going to be quite straightforward. We are looking at the context set is we have hydrogen peroxide and it forms water and oxygen. Shall we take a moment, because the balance equation is given, shall we take a moment to actually write out the state symbol for all the substances? It's commonly tested as well. Okay, now hydrogen peroxide is a solution, so it's going to be aqueous, all right, and water is going to be liquid, and oxygen is going to be G. Okay, so take note of that. And then the first question given to us is give the test for oxygen gas. For oxygen, we use glowing spleen, so take note of that. Possible words to describe what happens if there's oxygen in there is that it relights or it rekindle. Now take note, it's only 1 mark, so all 3 words, rekindle, glowing spleen, or relight, glowing spleen, needs to be present in order to get your 1 mark. Now this is often confused with the gas for hydrogen gas. Now for hydrogen gas, we use lead spleen, which basically has fire at the end of it. Okay, glowing has no fire at the end of it. And what happens to this lead spleen in the presence of hydrogen gas is we get this very nice and cute squeaky pop sound. Okay, so that is for hydrogen gas. Please don't confuse them. Now next we are looking at B. B is, if you are looking at the question, it's basically asking you what a catalyst do in order to increase rate of reaction. Now take note, this word increase rate of reaction is already given and provided in the question, so there is no need for you to repeat it. So over here, whatever I put in bracket over here is actually not essential because it's part of the question. So how do you get marks here is you just simply mention catalyst provides an alternative pathway with lower activation energy. So that is where your 2 marks is. First, to talk about it providing alternative pathway, and then 2 is that this alternative pathway have a lower activation energy. However, some students take the increased rate of reaction as part of their answers, so they end up getting only 1 mark or none if they simply just mention catalyst increase rate of reaction or catalyst speed up reaction. Okay, so whatever is given in the question, do not repeat it. Okay, then we have a setup here. This is usually how we decompose hydrogen peroxide and we get oxygen gas in the process. So you do see that there are 2 alphabets, right? So that basically means you need to label it. So we do need to label this apparatus. Okay, and as I'm highlighting, think about what are these 2 apparatus. So B is this apparatus. How would you name them? Okay, so this is one of the fundamental things in chemistry that you need to know, the apparatus. Okay, so for A, that's our conical flask. So conical flask has this shape. However, CE means common error. Common error, student thinks that equipment A is a beaker. Okay, beaker doesn't have this narrow top. Beaker is quite wide open at the mouth. Okay, so that is beaker, no marks there. And then for B, which is the one in blue right now, is actually our gas syringe. It still have this part over here. Okay, so what a common error, if you already know it's gas syringe, good for you. The common error is actually in the spelling. Some students spell it as gas syringe. Okay, so please take note of that. So it should be SYRINGE. Common things that students tend to miss out are this alphabet when it comes to spelling syringe. Okay, all right. Next one, we're trying to look for the volume of gas produced in the first 4 minutes. Show on the graph. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you're asked to show on the graph, you need to annotate. Okay, so how do we do this? Now, so if you're look into the 4th minute here, okay, what you do is you will take your ruler and you will arrange it in such a way. Okay, so look at 4th minute and then you will draw a dotted line. Okay, so when it hits the curve, that's when you read on the left and you should get around a reading of 38 in this case. However, this dotted line and these red lines that you see on my screen here, you need to annotate. Okay, in order for you to get the marks. Okay, so that's 38. Why is there 2 marks for just 38 here? Because the answer alone is 1 mark. Annotating on the graph to show your working, this alone is 1 mark. And this often is missed out by students to just simply go back to the graph and read the answer. So take note of this. Okay, then this is the 4-mark question I'm going to talk about. This is a mathematical skills that you need to display when you're doing chemistry. You need to draw a suitable tangent at the 8th minute. Okay, and you also need to include units for rate of reaction. So there's some additional things that you need to do in order to get 4 marks. So let's do it one at a time. Let's go to the 8th minute first and draw a tangent. So I'm going to bring it bigger. So I'm going to use yellow. Okay, so at my 8th minute, what I need to do is I would take a ruler, and you will try to find a tangent that touches only at the 8th minute part of the graph. Okay, and then this is my line. The line in, I'm just trying to, oh, okay, I shouldn't move that, because I will also move my purple color line. Okay, so the purple color bow line is the tangent, and where it hits the curve, I would look to the left and I will have a reading of 59. So for this question, they allow the range of 58 to 60 being the answer. Okay, then this is when students just start losing marks, because they just simply give this answer as the final one. However, we're looking at tangent and we're looking at rate. So we need to divide by the time taken. And since they have asked us to take a look at this tangent at 8th minute, I do need to divide my answers by 8 minutes. Okay, so let's run through the step again. So you find 8 minutes first and you draw a tangent. Ideally, when it comes to drawing, use pencil. Okay, and then draw a line to the left side to get the volume. So the volume accepted is between 58, 59, or 60, and you must remember to divide by time, because we're looking at rate of reaction. So since it's given to us at the 8th minute, we divide by 8. So we end up with answers like this, 7.38 or 7.4. I personally like to present my answers in 3SF, so I'll put this as my answer. And finally, underline things like that. So these are instruction. You need to include the units. So the units here is cm cube per minute. Say for example, you have no idea how I get the cm cube per minute. Then always go back to the graph to look for contextual clue. You will see that for the y-axis, it is already given, it's volume, and that's cm cube over here. And here for the x-axis, the time is in minutes. So the shorthand for minute is min. Okay, so you will just simply put the units is cm cube per minute. All right, so if you have a moment, take a look at what are the common errors. So some students wrote the unit as m instead of min. So m is usually not accepted because m here is referring to meters. Okay, like 100 meters raised, that 100, the m at the end refers to the meters, the length. The other common error here is student did not draw the tangent at 8. They probably draw it at 6 or 10, so that's wrong. And then finally, even if the student draw at 8, they did not divide by 8. Okay, they forget that it's a rate of reaction, not trying to find out what is the volume of oxygen gas produced. So there we have it. We have 11-mark question on rate of reaction and a 4-mark alone on finding tangent. Although I think you can also use the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 to do this question. That will also allow you to find the tangent here. Okay, so have more practice. If I do come across any more question on tangent, I'll be happy to put this up as part of the series. Thank you.